So today I'm just going to kind of talk about some ways in which we've worked with brands in the past, helping them create micro distribution channels, helping them get brand exposure. Um, this presentation was meant for anyone industry-wide, right? So we're talking about farms, labs, retail brands, everyone as a whole. So that's kind of how it will go, but I can try to dictate it towards the retail brand space. So first, brief introduction on myself. I'm the founder of the CBD and Cannabis Professional Business Network. Has 25,000 members, largest group on LinkedIn for CBD and cannabis. Co-founder of a company called Where's Hemp, which is an online B2B marketing platform for companies much like yourself, retail brands, ancillary services. Essentially, a good example would be if a merchant processor who's been doing business in another industry wanted to get into CBD or cannabis, they'd come to myself because I have, or my company, because we have a ton of data, and we'd help them market directly to my data. So last year I did over 15 million in sales in 2020 as COVID started. And I brought in over 40 clients personally to Where's Hemp, okay? So here's the group. The CBD and Cannabis Professional Business Network has about 24,000 members. Grows by about 50 people a day. For myself, it is my company's lead magnet. So people join this group. What we do is we run surveys through this group to learn more about what they do, who they are, and then from there have our sales guys reach out. So before I get started, I want to just kind of go through a quote that I found that kind of made an impact on me and how I, kind of the thesis for this whole presentation. It is literally true that you can succeed best and quickest by helping others to succeed. That's a quote by Napoleon Hill. So in short, it's much more effective to work together to overcome business adversity than to overcome them on your own. So before we kind of jump into how to do business post-COVID, let's talk about how business has been done in the pre-COVID world, okay? So previously, prior business relationships, this is coming out of the black or gray market. This is anybody who's been in the industry for a while. They're doing business with people that they like, people that they know, people that they've transacted with before. And that's who they're gonna, reach out to in their first layer of people who they're going to use to overcome business challenges. The next is trade groups. So chambers of commerce is a good example. Business trade groups where people make industry decisions. This is still common today, especially in international trade and logistics. So we've seen many trade groups sitting on boards in Mexico and Colombia who are setting precedent and policy for bringing raw materials, importing them in, and a lot of times these guys are sitting on governmental boards. The last, and by far the most common and widely used way to generate new business is expos. It's why we're here. It's what we didn't have any of last year. And it's why a lot of people kind of, they were looking for other ways to do business. Why didn't I have any business? Well, because the three ways which you can do it, you have to meet face to face, and those weren't available. So basically it was all of these things are basically face-to-face places that you can meet people face-to-face, like-minded people. So when COVID-19 happened, caused a huge shift in the industry, forcing companies to be agile, move much of their networking remotely. This was good and bad for the industry. Hey, Joe. Good in the sense that it caused this emerging market to become a lot more agile and adopt some of these new methods. Bad in a sense that if you did not adopt these new methods, you ran the risk of pigeonholing your company. So by not being agile, by not moving into a place where you can be adverse to the restrictions by COVID, you can pigeonhole your company, and without adapting these strategies, your company could die off. So what strategies can you use to adopt with the times in the post-COVID era? So these are things that I and my company have found to be very effective in the post-COVID world and effective for generating new business. So overcoming business challenges. Over the next few slides, I'm going to peel back the layers to way to help generate new business and survive in the post-COVID world. So becoming a thought leader in your space, social media groups, create a mastermind group or community discussion, and then email marketing. So first one I want to jump into is build and leverage your network. So first thing, brand yourself as a thought leader in your industry. Go out and brand yourself as a thought leader in the industry. You do this by positioning yourself as a person of value. Look out for others in your industry and ways in which you can help them overcome their business challenges, right? So don't go into a business group looking to just take from people. Look for ways in which you can add value. Look for ways in which you can help empower people within your network, because in turn, they're going to look for ways in which they can help you. look for ways to connect. Look for new and emerging ways to connect. So this has been extremely important for our business, as you're seeing a lot more new platforms start to come out. So whether this is going to be joining a blog, creating a YouTube video, creating a YouTube channel, or joining a platform like a Clubhouse or a LeafWire. Not sure if you guys know what Clubhouse is, but it's essentially not sure if you see what Clubhouse is, but it's a place for that creates an app hosts virtual rooms for live discussions and opportunities for individuals to participate through speaking and listening. Sorry. These are great ways to invest in your own knowledge. So we're always about trying to invest in ourselves, right? How do we stay on top of industry trends? How do we keep our finger on the pulse of the industry? Being part of a Clubhouse room and listening to thought leaders in your space, what they're overcoming, what they're seeing in the industry. This is a great way to position yourself to overcome those challenges, and also a great way to generate new business. So the next way to generate new business, and my personal favorite, obviously because I own the group, is through social media groups. So first thing when joining a social media group, post within the group. Don't just join a group and just be sitting idly by. When you post though, do not be salesy. Don't be needy. You want to be provoking. You want to be thought provoking. You can create topics that are engaging, ask questions that are relevant, or even controversial. Just don't be one of those social media warriors, right? So don't sit behind your computer and look to just badmouth what every single person posts, but post questions to the industry. Post ways in which when you ask questions that are thought-provoking, you're presenting yourself as a thought leader within your space. Because if you have that question, many other people are gonna have that question. And the fact that you're able to drive those answers allows you to position yourself as someone who people will look to for answers. So one of the, So through group discussions. So one of the tips and tricks for social media. So one of the tips that I can give for joining a group within LinkedIn is your ability to message any person within that group. So when you join a group within LinkedIn, you're able to directly message every single person in that group. So when you're doing that, you can always say, hey John, noticed you're part of the CBD and Cannabis Professional Business Network. I'd love to connect. You're using the fact that you both have a like-minded reason for being in that group as a low barrier to entry to connect with that person. And then from there, you want to try to transition that person and bring them into your wheelhouse. Bring them into having a conversation about what it is that you do, what their challenges are, and how you can help overcome them. Also, when you bring somebody directly into your network, so within LinkedIn's terms of service, when somebody's a second degree connection, you're able to send them 300 characters and it doesn't even go directly to their inbox. When someone's a first degree connection and you've actually connected with them, you're able to send them 30,000 characters, and you're also able to send them links and stuff to your website. You're also when it comes to direct messaging has about a 98% deliverability rating. Whereas opposed to email marketing is about 30 to 40%. So when you're direct messaging somebody on LinkedIn, 98% of the time they're going to get it. The other, versus the second best, which is going to be email marketing. One other way which you can build your network is by utilizing peer-to-peer marketing. So adopt a program that gives your buyers a way to share their purchases with the rest of their network for rewards and discount. So this is going to your retail brand. There's a way to market on Facebook that people really just don't know about, and it's called peer-to-peer marketing. So what that means is if I purchase a tincture, what my program will do is it will say, okay, you purchased this tincture, that money is out of my pocket into the company's bank account. The company will then say, hey, listen, we'll give you $10 for every person that you refer on social media. We'll deposit that $10 back into your account. So it's money that they've already spent, they're getting back. So these people are incentivized to post about their posting, right? We give them the ability to put that on Facebook. What that will do is it will say, John bought a tincture, and then tags 5 of his friends. So not only are you're getting your brand onto Facebook, but you're also organically growing their brand by like-minded people. Any person who will click any part of that offering, that data will go back to the retail brand themselves. So it's a great way to start building a list organically. It's also the only way that we found to get onto Facebook. So we've seen tremendous success doing it, and a lot of the bigger brands are using it because every person who purchases ends up wanting to collect more and more data on the people who they're collecting, as well as other like-minded individuals. So another way to generate more business in your network is by joining or creating a mastermind group. So first, I'll kind of go, what is a mastermind group, right? So a mastermind group is a mastermind group is not as large as a social media group. Usually the group meets once or twice a month, usually between 5 to 10 people. It's a peer-to-peer mentoring group that's used to help other members solve problems within their industry, give input advice. And at its core, it's an organized way to meet like-minded people. So much like we're here at this expo to network, a mastermind group is a lot smaller, a lot more industry specific, but it's a great place to overcome business challenges and industry challenges. So how do you find a mastermind group? This is always a challenge for people who are just coming into an emerging market. What we found works is reaching out to forums, reaching out to thought leaders in your network, and just see what types of groups they're in. When you're having a conversation with somebody, it's easy to say, are you guys a part of any networking groups? Do you guys do what other networking do you do? Where have you found the great way to make business? When you're networking with someone, oftentimes they are happy to discuss what's working for them and how they can overcome some of their challenges. So ask people, that's the best way to do it. Always drive value before leveraging a favor. So when you're joining these groups, don't just go and say, hey, I need this or buy this. Ask somebody about themselves. Learn more about the members in that group. Find out where you can contribute, how you can drive value to them and with them. And then once you've actually positioned yourself as a person of value, then make your ask. Asking for business is okay. So I'm not saying don't go in there and don't say, hey, this is what I do. But when you don't want to go in there and spam a group. You want to just go and describe what makes you valuable. How have you helped others that have had similar challenges, and how have you helped them overcome these challenges? Don't just say, hey, buy my stuff. One example I can give you guys is I created a mastermind group out in SoCal for raw materials. So raw materials is a saturated market in SoCal. I've literally put 5 different competitors in the same room together. They literally do business competing with each other. There is more business generated from that mastermind group than any other business that I do. Because they compete against each other, they have the same business challenges, they're able to set market industry standards, and they are able to work together. So, in an emerging market, when there's, it's an emerging market that's segmented, the only way to overcome challenges is to work together as a group, understand what people are good at, I'm not saying go give your competitor your book of business, but it's okay to talk about similar business challenges. It's also a great way to set industry standards, right? If we have one person selling isolate at this amount and another person selling it at this amount, and you're both in the same region and you both have the same type of product, it's good to have that communication to set that industry standard versus both of you driving each other's price to the bottom. If both of you stop driving to the bottom, working together, you can always bring up the price. So that's just a small example of how creating a mastermind group can help. The last topic that I'm going to discuss today that's been incredibly powerful in the post-COVID world is email marketing. So email marketing, or what we call direct response marketing, is a great way to get in front of people. So how do you start email marketing? You don't just have a list, right? What you need to do is start creating a list. Every person that you're talking to, put into a CRM. Every business card that you've met here, every note that you have, make sure that that information is in our CRM, and you're starting to drive content to these people. Don't just hit them with the ask. Don't just say, I want you to buy this. I want you to buy my product. Reach out to them and say, hey, listen, I found a cool article about about your industry. Here it is, X, Y, and Z. They're going to read that article. By reading that article, now that they've read your article, that email now has history. So the next time you send out an ask, you're 95% more likely to get it delivered to their inbox versus their spam box because you hit them with content first. So they've spent some time on your email, they've listened to it, they've read it, then you're going to have much more higher deliverability than just hitting them with an ask and ask and ask. So create a place also for people to opt in to receive your information. So on your website, have it say, if you want to receive free offers, if you want to receive free content, opt in here. You guys would be surprised how many people, when they're interested in a brand, actually do sign up. Even though people are just shopping around, many people just want to receive free discounts, and they will oftentimes sign up. It's a great place to bring in new clients. Have a market that automatically markets for you and follows up with your contacts. So there's a lot of systems out there. There's Google. There is a Google autoresponder, which is a really good one. What happens is once you get an email address, You tag that email address in your CRM, it automatically puts them into a sequence, and Google will follow up with them. What you're gonna do with those follow-ups is you're gonna indoctrinate them, tell them a little bit about yourself, but give them the ability to learn more. So give them a place where they can go and watch a virtual sales letter, and then after that virtual sales letter, a place where they can sign up for an appointment with you, right? Give the people the ability to get right on your calendar so they don't have to call you. It's not a matter of scheduling back and forth. There's so many times that with scheduling back and forth, you've lost that person, right? They've lost interest. But if you give them the ability to sign up with you immediately on the spot, and they can click and get right onto your calendar, that's a great way to do it, because the lowest barrier to entry. Don't pollute your list once you have it, right? So when we say pollute your list, that's hitting them with ask. If you're gonna do that, your deliverability is gonna go way down. What you need to do is have 2 content emails to every 3 asks is about the appropriate amount, right? So you're sending content, you'll do maybe an ask, do a content, then maybe an ask and an ask. Don't have your third ask be that salesy, more of a content type ask. So that's just email book rule of thumb to ensure that you're gonna get deliverability and to make sure that you're not gonna go into their spam folder. One other last thing that's really worked well for us is seeking out other people who have really large lists. Talking about what their services are, making sure that there's a line in the sand between what you're doing and what they're doing, but then partnering for those large lists. Me personally, expos, right? People who own expos, they have really large lists. I love partnering with people who own expos. So I'll give you a hint there. That's a really good place to start. Once you've created this machine, you want to do something that's called create a sales funnel. So sales funnel is going to take people through your company's ecosystem, and indoctrinate them to who you are, what makes you different, and why you're valuable to them. Here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys a sales funnel that we created at Where's Hemp from LinkedIn, right here. All right, so as you can see here, let's see if the scroll thing starts on LinkedIn, right? I get their information from LinkedIn. It takes them to a sales page. So once they're first through your connection, they say, click here if you'd like to learn more. I'm going to go to the sales page. That sales page is going to give the people the ability to learn more through an indoctrination video. Or maybe the sales page itself sold them. So they're saying, oh, okay, let me look at an application. They start to fill out this application. That application immediately goes to a calendar. So while people are hot, you want to give them the ability to get your calendar. Look at this. All of it ends to a meeting with you. It's just what path they take. If they're going through the indoctrination video, then what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, thank you for watching our video. You're going to get an email from me that's going to be reminding you to fill out the form. Hey, thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to fill this out. And that will be set on some sort of sequence. Either way, we're going to send them to an application. The application is important because this is when you're going to collect their data, right? You want to find out not just what their email address is and what their name is. You want to know what your challenges are, what your pain points are. Why are you interested in my program? For my group, for LinkedIn, the CBD and Cannabis Professional Business Network, every person who joins the application, it says, hey, listen, in an effort to learn more about what you do, are you a farm, a retail brand, a lab, ancillary service? List basically the entire industry, but then the next question is, what is your current pain? Is it looking for capital? Do you need merchant processing? Do you need marketing? Whatever that can be, what that's doing is it's giving me data and it's giving me information on what their challenges are to further steer them once they book some time on my actual calendar. So some programs that we use personally, oh, I didn't get this part on the remote. Anyways, some programs that we use personally as jot forms for our forms. The reason for that is jot form links directly into your CRM, so all that data can go directly into your CRM. Depending on your CRM, it should API in. And then Calendly to fill out the calendar. It's free software. I put it at the bottom of my email address, so anytime somebody wants to reach out and book some time on my calendar, they're able to do so. Depending on your sales size, if you are somebody who's extremely busy and you want somebody to pre-qualify, then you can have it go directly to a salesperson, which is in fact something that we have since transitioned and are doing. So those are the two softwares that we would use. So last quote that I want to say is, in an emerging market, it's better to work together than to be a lone wolf. So I can't stress this enough. I've seen it in this industry for about 2 or 3 years now. It is nearly impossible to do everything in everything, especially by yourself. The niches, the riches are in the niches, right? So niche yourself in, but then leverage the challenges that everyone else is overcoming to become the highest version of this industry that you can possibly be. And like I said, work directly with your competition. Your competition is having the same challenges you are. Now, I'm not saying give them, like I said, don't give me your book of business, but find ways to work together, because oftentimes through discussion and being open and honest and transparent, you'll find ways in which you didn't think you can work together, in which you can, and you can end up making money. I've seen it time and time again. So it's not until you let someone into your ecosystem and add value to their world that you can truly understand all the different levels and way in which you can do business and overcome business. So, I'm not going to give everyone my cards without being at a level of trust with them, right? And it's not until somebody is into my world, I'm talking to them, that I'm going to say, oh, actually, this is a way that we can work together. So how do you do that? You go into them with your cards. Hey, listen, this is what I'm looking for. These are the challenges that I'm looking for help overcoming. Have you seen this? And he might say, yeah, oh, this is what you can do. That's a great place to start, but don't go into saying, how can I win your business? That's not where it's at. It's about understanding the pain points that people are having and then aligning with their pain points and helping them overcome challenges together. So now just gonna go over some final key thoughts that I have here. So back to my quote, it is literally true that you can succeed best and quickest by helping others to succeed. The quote by Napoleon Hill, the way to say that, working together empowers us to grow faster. Engage your market and industry, right? So it's not just trying to suck out the dollars out of your market and industry. Be engaging, talk to people, reach out, add value. Don't just ask. Don't just say, hey, I'm selling this service. Say, hey, does anybody need this? Did you guys know this? And just positioning yourself as someone who can question the industry and somebody who can be a thought leader within that industry will drive business to you. That's how people are generating business in this day and age. So driving customer value through partnerships. Once again, don't be afraid to reach out to your competition and say, what are you doing that's working for you guys? There is so much business done within your competition that it's unknown. It's unknown until you decide to go there with your partners. And a lot of times you'll see, you think your competition and maybe at this level, but on the bottom level, you're not competing and you guys can fill in a hole that these guys haven't done or vice versa. And I've seen that time and time again where two operators will go to each other and they say, hey, listen, we're both selling broad spectrum. And one of them will say, oh, okay, well, I think we're competing. Let's not do business together. However, one of them needs, let's say CBN, and one of them happens to be the largest producer of CBN. So there's another way in which they can do business that they haven't discussed, that they in turn start finding out because they start peeling back the layers and understanding what people do and how to drive partnerships. And lastly, help others with no expectations. So it will pay off in the long run. Don't expect things out of other people. Go into a business relationship looking for how you can add value and knowing that the more good business that you do, the more good business you'll attract. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not something that you can just earn people's trust and integrity. But if you hold yourself at your highest level and are always at that highest level of business, you will attract the best of the best in industry players. And that is all I have for my large audience here. Thanks for coming, guys. You guys have any